Syrian Arab Army takes full control in Breweries, eliminating scores of terrorists, including their leaders. Saudi airstrikes continue to target residential quarters and cities in several areas in Yemen, leaving 47 dead and more than 100 injured using internationally prohibited ammunitions. Erdogan's government is set on supporting terrorism, whether in Syria, Egypt, Iraq, Libya or Lebanon. Good afternoon. This is News in English from the Syrian Arab Division in Damascus. We start our bulletin with the latest developments on the ground. The Syrian Arab Army continues its operations in a number of Aleppo city neighborhoods, as well as several areas in the city's countryside, particularly near the Air Force Academy, destroying terrorist hideouts in Tel Rifat, Maria and Anadan, while in Hasake, to the northeast of Syria. Moreover, several armed men have been killed or wounded in the city's western suburb. Air raids were also carried out north of Al-Bitar farm in Daraa countryside into the south of Syria, where several terrorists were reportedly killed and their weapons destroyed. In Idlib, Syrian Arab Army units continued their operations in the perimeter of Jisr al-Shughur city and targeted several gatherings for the terrorist organizations in the vicinity of the National Hospital, killing many terrorists and inflicting heavy casualties among them. In Damascus countryside, Syrian Arab Army units have taken control of new cross points in Qalamun prairies, eliminating scores of terrorists, including their leaders. The Turkish assault on Syria has continued for more than 4 years, prompting many to wonder whether Erdogan and his party are really aware of the dangers of playing the card of terrorism, particularly after it has backfired on their own homeland. Shouldn't Erdogan and his clique be brought to account for their crimes against the people of the region and the Turkish people as well, one may ask.
The Justice and Development government in Turkey has turned its back on Kemal Atatürk and his secular principles, which call for peace both in the homeland and the world. Erdogan's government has been set to restore the ancient Ottoman legacy of flaring up and reviving sedition, sectarianism, massacres, annihilation and deportation, a century after it had perished. Erdogan and Davutoglu have based their malicious plan on bringing terrorists from more than 100 countries in the world into Syria, after training and arming them to perpetrate their crimes in the country. Davutoglu has tried to deviate attention from the successive defeats incurred by his stooges, al-Nusra and ISIL terrorist organizations, at the hands of the Syrian Arab Army, so he infiltrated into Syria to visit the new site of his ancestor, the founder of the Ottoman barbaric rule. Deputy Foreign Minister Dr. Faisal Miqdad described Oglu's step as a violation of international law and state sovereignty. He stressed that the Turkish government will be brought to account for such conduct. Dr. Miqdad pointed out that the support rendered by the Justice and Development government to the terrorists has been openly disclosed by all news media as well as by the Turkish judges and observers themselves. The relations that link this party to the terrorist ISIL and Nusra organization have become a common knowledge to the entire world. On her part, Iranian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Mardiya Afkham said in a statement that it's really unfortunate that certain states have miscalculated the changes and circumstances the Middle East region is passing through.
The Syrian-American Forum in the United States of America held in the city of New Jersey a symposium dubbed Syria Axis of Resistance as part of the activities of the United Nations Anti-War Coalition conference being held this year under the title Stop Domestic and Foreign Wars. The forum's board member, Ghayath Musa, reviewed during the symposium the events in the region, particularly Syria has passed through during the last century, as Syria was targeted for the interest of the Zionist entity. Saudi fighter jets intensified their strikes on several areas in Yemen, killing 47 people and injuring more than 100 others, mostly women and children, and leaving more damage and destruction in the vital and historical sites. The strikes came a few hours ahead of the so-called humanitarian truce in Yemen. The Saudi regime renewed its airstrikes on a camp for the Yemeni army north of al-Hudaydah city and also launched at least 6 air raids on the civil airport in the city. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov is to hold talks with his U.S. counterpart John Kerry in the Russian city of Sochi. Russian Foreign Ministry said that the talks would cover viewpoints concerning the pending issues between Moscow and Washington, as well as the urgent issues on top of which Syria, Iran and Yemen. For her part, U.S. State Department spokesperson pointed out that Kerry is to meet the Russian President Vladimir Putin in Sochi also to discuss the crisis in Syria as well as Ukraine, Iran's nuclear file and other issues. And with this we conclude our news for today. Thank you for watching. For more details about Syria and the region and to view this bulletin again, you can always visit our website in English, www.syriaonline.sy. Now to the latest business and market news with Nariman, but after a short break.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. The Central Bank of Syria has set the exchange rate of the US dollar against the Syrian pound at 235.83 for the banks and 236.17 for the exchange companies. The Central Bank has also set the exchange rate of the US dollar against the Syrian pound for transfers at 235. On the other hand, the euro exchange rate against the Syrian pound was set at 262.88 for the banks and 263.25 for the exchange companies. The Minister of Economy and Foreign Trade, Humam al-Jazairi, asserted that increasing the industrial and agricultural production is the most important factor in terms of regulating the exchange rates, stressing that there is no alternative to dealing in the Syrian pound and that there are absolutely no plans to dollarize the Syrian economy. During a meeting with the economic figures and officials in Tartus province, al-Jazairi said that the ministry took several steps in managing foreign trade by managing demands for the USD, since the exchange rate has become a main determining factor in assessing livelihood levels. He also said these steps included giving more flexibility in importing materials and equipment for industrial production and at the same time reducing imports of goods and products to protect local products, which will show positive effects gradually, adding that restricting imports alone isn't enough due to the smuggling of products that is hard to curb. The Syrian wedding dresses are famous around the world, and the Syrian fashion designers used to export them to many countries. More in the following report.
The Syrian wedding dresses are very famous of its beautiful fabrics and haute couture. The Syrian bride has a special taste, so she can choose any model that she was dreaming or thinking about. The Syrian wedding dresses became famous around the world, and the Syrian fashion designers and factories used to export it to many countries. And what is special of the Syrian wedding dress, that it's elegant, stylish, and with a very good price. If you want to buy a wedding dress, you can come to Syria and Damascus to buy such a beautiful dress for your wedding. For English News, Abdullah Al-Haj, the Syrian TV.
Damascus Securities Exchange Index rose nearly 1 point in the last session to close on 1,208 points. Moreover, the trading bulk reached 29,000 shares, distributed on 39 deals, with a total value exceeded 3 million Syrian pounds. On the other hand, the banking sector ranked first, followed by the insurance sector, then the industrial one. And now over to some main currencies exchange rates according to the bulletin of the Central Bank of Syria. Ladies and gentlemen, this was our economic news for today. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.